What's up, guys? Let's go over the Splicer season that's starting on Tuesday. Honestly, this season's gonna look like it's gonna be like pretty fun, pretty intuitive, pretty entertaining, especially the lineup they have. First, let's go over the seasonal calendar and the roadmap for what the broad spectrum is for this season. On May 11th, we have intro mission for armor synthesis. I'm glad it's coming in finally. Next, on another thing on May 11th is the new aspect quest for our new stasis aspects, which requires Beyond Light. We also get a override mission type or Europa, which requires the season of the Splicer. On May 14th, we got trials. On May 18th, we got Iron Banner and the override for the moon. On May 22nd, we have Vault of Glass Day 1, which is a Saturday. So just like Deep Zone Crypt, a lot of players are gonna get that first week clear, and even more players are probably even gonna get that day one of them because your starting light was your soft cap for this season, which is cool. May 22nd is the weekly Pinnacle mission override for Tangled Shore. On June 1st is the weekly Pinnacle mission. June 8th is Iron Banner and the weekly Pinnacle mission. June 15th is the raid challenges for Vault of Glass, which I hope they actually keep the if you fail the challenge, it's a team-wide, putting more emphasis on players needing to do challenges. Also that day is the weekly Pinnacle mission. On June 22nd is the weekly Pinnacle mission. On June 29th is Iron Banner and a weekly Pinnacle mission. On July 6th, Solstice of Heroes begins, and hopefully we get even more amazing glows than we have already. And we already have 2 sets of amazing glows from the previous Solstice of Hero events, but also what's coming out that day is Vault of Glass difficulty options, which means Mastered's gonna get launched that day, which I hope it's a challenge, more challenging than anything we ever had for Vault of Glass in D1. August 3rd, Solstice of Heroes ends, and Iron Banner is also that day, and August 10th is the epilogue of the season. Pretty, high-packed season that we're getting into, and I'm highly interested in each of the weekly Pinnacle missions because each time they're shown in the map, it's a different image, which means there's going to be probably different areas we could actually get into. Up next, we have the base armor sets for the season. Unlike the previous season we have where you would get this armor set from the actual pass and get that somewhat decent high statted armor, this season you only get these armor sets from the actual seasonal activity, which is kind of weird because I like getting that start out so I get the feel on what shaders could I use in each of these armor sets and what armor fits around each set, but it means I'm gonna have to grind more of the seasonal activities than how I was planning on. Up next is the artifact that we have for this season is the Gauntlet that Mithrax actually uses to commune with the machines to get into the Vex network. This is actually going to be cool. I'm interested to see what kind of unique mods that they decide to put into this. They have no information on this whatsoever, but I'm still excited to know how broken my Titan and Hunter can actually be. And this is the exotic sidearm that a lot of Reddit users are just trying to get mad over because, oh my god, it's a stasis gun. We can't have this. It's gonna break PvP. Even though, if you paid attention to the trailer, it actually works kind of like Kill Clip and kind of like Travelers of the Chosen, where you gotta get kills to activate the actual freeze bullet. So it's not gonna be instant freeze, but if there's a mod in the artifact that boosts stasis damage from guns, then it might be actually a lot more fun to use in PvP. Is something I can actually get behind. Up next is the exotics. For Warlock, we have the Boots of the Assembler. Condenses the Warlock rift's healing or empowered energy into projectiles that sinks out their allies to bless them with noble benefits. This screams Lumina. Is the hand cannon that you get a kill, and then once you get a kill you get this buff, and then you can actually shoot this buff at your teammates. This just screams synergy from this hand cannon and these boots, so you get so many buffs just going around. And if these boots act like actual Lumina buffs, then this could be a whole new branch off of the support class for Warlock, which is just amazing. Up next is the Titan Exotic, the Path of the Burning Steps. Titan armor that converts solar eliminations into increased weapon damage and makes them more difficult to lock down with stasis, which makes perfect sense because of course you would want a solar armor piece to actually be the main thing that counteracts stasis, which is primarily ice. Plus, if this is separate things, as in the solar eliminations does a weapon buff separate from makes it more difficult to lock down with stasis, then this might actually start becoming the main solar exotic for most Titans, because you know there's so many good solar primaries for PvE and PvP that this is just going to be used so much this season, especially if there's not a art super buff mod on the artifact, because that's the main reason people run Titan last season, is pretty much just to use stars and just one shot every raid boss and every GM boss ever. But I'm happy to see that solar Titans are getting love again. Lastly, for the new exotics is Star Eater Scales. Allow hunters to feast upon orbs of power, charging their super more quickly and make it more potent. I am very interested to see how this counteracts and if it works even better than Orpheus Rigs did for Tether, ever since I changed Orpheus Rigs to only give back half energy. And I'm also interested to see if this will actually make the super more potent for Arc Staff and maybe put Rain Flux on the back end too. There's just so many things that this leaves vacant with the vagueness of its description that it could actually be used for multiple things. Okay, for weaponry, we have like a decent amount of weapons that are coming this season. We're having around 30 new and reprised weapons, which honestly is a cool thing because we get more weapons to chase and more weapons to deal with, while, you know, seeing if we can actually replace a few things in our regular lineup. All great things coming from this game. That will help crash the Vex network. We'll find the perfect weapon, the perfect role to bring the end to the endless night, which is an amazing line that you would put for describing these weapons. Armor synthesis, like I said in the beginning of the video, is coming this season. I still don't mind the cap because there's not a lot of armor sets that would work with Tangent that you would want to put universal ornaments on. And if you are that much of a completionist that you want everything in the game to be universal ornament, I just don't want to see your ornaments turn when months, seasons come by and you have like 5 different pages of ornaments that you got to go through each time you get a new armor set. I'm just not about that life. I always have these sets that, you know, work well together. They pull everything together. They make the color scheme pop. Those are the sets that I'm going to transmog. Those are the sets I'm going to use majority of the season until they bring other armor sets that actually rival it and make it even better. Like I said, VOG is coming back on May 22nd, and the world's first race is gonna be interesting. I hope they do a lot of decent changes for mechanics. I don't want to be bored out of my mind just shooting at a lane. Please don't make me just play Deepstone Crypt another 200 times just to actually have fun in a raid. Please don't be that raid, VOG. Please make me change my mind on your position on my favorite raids. Up next, we have the Expunge Pinnacle mission. This is the one that pops up every week on every spot of the world roadmap, and the way it's described is each week Guardians will uncover the vulnerabilities within the Vex network and use Splicer keys to infiltrate and collapse it from within. I'm very interested to know how we attain these Splicer keys, or even if they're keys in general. When I hear Splicer's keys, it makes me think of the skeleton keys from House of Wolves, when you actually had to go around the world map and find chests that unlocked it with a specific boss, which were a fun time, but there were farming methods that made it so much of a hassle to grind, and the rewards weren't really beneficial. But I'm excited to see this pinnacle come back, which means it's another pinnacle we could use in the game while chasing that 10 levels, because if you're maxed light this season, you only need to go to the pinnacle for next season, which is just focusing on one thing. Lastly, we have the override mission, which is the new 6 player match-made activity. Fire teams of 6 will use Splicer tech to hack the Vex network, uncover their secrets, steal their codes, and use their power against them, which will probably lead into the Splicer keys, or I think about it, because why would you get the technology from Override and not use it in like another activity? So you could actually use the codes from Override to get Splicer keys to use an Expunge, which probably makes a lot more sense than I actually think it does. But you know, if it was a smart area, then we could actually tie Override into Expunge and tie Expunge into VOG to make that full rounded circle of everything being connected in the season, and then having the story connected right back into Witch Queen, because that expansion is gonna be awesome. Anyway guys, that's it for the quick overview of the season of Splicer that we have so far. There's a lot more stuff in the actual document. That's actually me in the description down below if you want to check out every descriptive, everything. I didn't even go over the season pass and some of the other things that are like beneficial from just a player standpoint, but they're not game oriented. They're more of just qualities of life and also just straight out upgrades from stuff we already have. Anyway guys, I stream Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday on Twitch. The link for that down in the description down below. I'm gonna be going very hard at the start of the season just so I can actually get the max light, so I can just relax and worry about raids and high-end activities. And hopefully I could get some guns that don't take me the entire season to get. And I'm talking about you Royal Rocket that still hasn't dropped a Pacific roll I want. Anyway guys, I'll catch you next stream in the next video. Love you guys. Bye.